Lab Union podcast. That's a lot louder in such a confined space.
Yes, man.
Look, we hate to state the obvious, but we're not at Radio Bar right now. For we're a couple of busy boys today, we had to sneak it in a little early, and so we're here at my desk. But just to make sure that you still feel at home, we'll play one of our old episodes in the background with the sound
That's
off.
me there. No, sorry, that way.
Yep.
That way. I'm looking at the thing, and that's right there. Yeah, that way. For those on Spotify, there is a screen behind us playing the video of us in a previous podcast. That's what we were pointing at. We're not going to get distracted by that, are we? So yes, it is a dimly lit YouTube apology video style thing.
Why don't we just get it out of the way now before we get cancelled?
Yeah.
So we can just
okay.
We preemptively apologise for whatever we said. We've taken this chance to really learn.
We understand that words and actions have caused distress.
And they have consequences.
Yes, and we
just learnt that now.
And we understand that. I don't know.
I love that. We're just learning it. Our actions and
we should have started with a sigh.
Words have a. Can you cry on command? I can't cry at all.
No, crying.
It's just a quick way to get dehydrated. I don't see the fucking purpose.
Okay, right. Before we get started,
kick us off.
Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge the custodians of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. It's important to understand that we are conducting ourselves on stolen land that is being curated and looked after by First Nations people of Australia for tens of thousands of years, who are the most continuous culture in the world. Treaties were never signed, sovereignty was never ceded. Australia is one of, if not the only country that hasn't signed a treaty with the indigenous population, which is not fantastic. And I usually say it's nice to come here, which is at Radio Bar, to share our stories and talk and do the podcast. But it doesn't matter where we do the podcast. It's nice to be able to do this, and talk and to share. Whereas so many First Nations people have had their words, stories, experiences ignored, written out of history, throughout history and up until this day. I also just want to acknowledge the Palawa people of Luchuita, which is the First Nations people of Tasmania, where I unfortunately grew up.
Now, this episode.
Strap yourself in.
This episode, I anticipate is going to be a little bit chaotic, and it's coming out after. You'll get a lot of that sound as well.
ASMR.
So this chair is very squeaky. That faux leather against my
listeners.
Against my tight jeans. This is coming out after our first ever poetry competition that we've run. Slam-O-Vision. The Slam-O-Vision is not ours, but rather we're just running the Melbourne Heat for UNESCO Melbourne City of Literature. It's happening tonight, hence why we're doing this. So we've got time to set up chairs primarily, mostly chairs set up. And we anticipate, if you're watching this, it went fantastically without a hitch. It was a really brilliant.
It was the best night I've ever had ever.
I wouldn't say that myself.
It includes the birth of my first child.
Yeah, great. That's news to me. I've had better nights personally.
That one guy, it was a bit of a dick, but that's fine.
Yeah, but
I can predict that because usually there's one.
We socked him right in his kisser. Took him out.
Yeah, pow, grr.
Two beefy boys.
Aggressive boys.
Punching other boys. We don't condone violence. We actually are taking this chance to learn from our previous mistakes.
Yes, and we've given up our aggressive fighting ways, and we are
You've been in fights?
No.
In a fight?
No.
No.
Huh. My mother listens to this. No.
Fair. Me neither. No, I have not.
You've been online. You've been online. You've been in some online fights. That's what I was trying to say.
Sure, yeah.
You keyboard warrior.
Not much of a fighter.
What? That big beefy frame of yours? You can tell by the different sizes of us right now.
I always get shocked when I hear like people in high school was pretty uneventful violence-wise, which there was blood on the stairs one time, but that was
Is this school in Castlemaine or in Melbourne?
Castlemaine.
Sorry, Castlemaine.
Kid got thrown down the stairs by a mate. Well, mate is a strong word.
Were they falling around like accident? Like was it an accident or was it?
Like pushed.
But
thrown
like,
or pushed down.
some people might say, "Oh, that was I did as a joke."
Oh no!
Okay.
He was trying to kill him. As far
Oh,
as I
right,
could tell.
okay.
And so I remember we were walking to class and there was blood on the stairs.
Oh, that sounds
That's
like
probably the most violent thing I ever saw in high school.
like My Chemical Romance. Was it blood on the dance floor?
blood.
Instead of the dance.
Is there blood on the dance floor?
I think so.
I don't know if that's a
I
My
know.
Chemical Romance
No,
song.
I didn't mean like Blood on the Stairs sounds like a My Chemical Romance
Yes.
song, but then I think there is a song by someone not saying it's My Chemical
There's
Romance.
Murder on the Dance Floor.
Yes.
By
Turn that goddamn something I don't remember.
yeah.
They bleeped out goddamn back in the day.
I hate.
Not anymore because
It's something that I think we take for granted in Australia. The community radios and stuff like that, they don't bleep shit. They just say, "Hey, content warning," and then they
that's
you can
right.
use
Yeah,
expletives.
might have some bad words in it.
But it makes no fucking sense to me that in America, the land of the free, they love their freedom of speech, but also you have to have radio versions. Like, was that invented? I mean, probably invented in Britain.
We don't want
but-
young kids saying swears.
Yeah.
So that's all we had.
It's the spice of language.
Oh, I love
swearing.
little kids swearing is one of the funniest things ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the only good things children are for.
Besides making sneakers, they make a mean sneaker.
We are sorry for Rye's comments, and I wish to distance myself from these harsh and also very true comments. But
Like, they would be
Adidas
unaffordable.
and Nike, please still sponsor us.
If we don't use third world children, then they just become completely unaffordable.
True. So, this is a creative arts podcast. So, right, we're talking about we've got Slammervision tonight, which when you get this will be
Past.
5 days ago, 4
Yeah.
days ago, 5 days ago.
Yeah. You might have been there.
Yeah,
How
you
was
could
it?
have. If it was,
Comment
tell
below
us.
how it was.
Yeah. But we've had, it hasn't gone perfectly swimmingly.
No, there's been a couple of there's things like team members being sick, which cannot be controlled. But it got us thinking as we were leading up to it, both being pretty anxious, probably more anxious for
You haven't. Oh, it's
any other gig that we've done in a while.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe the first Project Legacy, I was pretty fucking nervous.
Well, I think that was just because we hadn't done that.
Hadn't done it, hadn't been in that venue before.
Co-hosting.
Don't know the crowd. I hadn't hosted in a fucking good while.
Yes, I haven't done hip hopping hosting before, as you can
So
tell.
that was kind of nerve-wracking. But
We did it.
I think this one has the most moving parts
Yeah.
and the most potential for chaos because it's involving 15 poets plus an open mic, and there's also in a very small room. So we just know it's going to be absolute fucking chaos.
And we've predicted there's going to be a decent crowd, which we're hoping so.
It's looking very promising, which is
Which
good.
is something I don't want to complain about. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But then it comes to eventually is it a venue that you're like, oh well, there's too many people, which is weird. But
We had that even at Dusty the other week.
that's right.
Like,
Last week.
it's a good by the time this
Whatever it
comes
was,
out
yes.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Or even further if you're watching this in the future.
That's
So-
true. There was. It was. Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but it is very nerve wracking, and it's hard to.
Because there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
They were like, Dusty last week. There was like, well, there's only so many chairs and so much room before you're blocking literal exit, fire exits.
And it's just not that many. I guess we now have learnt to do the layout a little bit differently, make a little bit more standing room at the back, as we're going to try and do for tonight as well. Really adjust the layout of the room as much as we possibly can to accommodate more people. But yeah, I guess it's just, I guess for two very anxious guys that try and we plan meticulously a lot to a neurotic level to try to quell the chaos in our own heads. And it always perplexes me. I always think it's like, why are we Why are we doing this? Why aren't somebody else doing this who are better in
But
chaos?
it's funny how it's always poetry.
Yeah.
It's there's well, I guess if you're dealing with Dusty, it's three artists.
Yep.
Right. Project Legacy, it's 4 artists.
Yep.
They're booked way in advance.
Yep.
Poetry is the one that so many variables, even open mics, like how many people, we do the online sign-ups and stuff, but then you say people coming in and
Some people have a problem with.
yes, we shouldn't have people sign up online because the internet is not a thing. Anyway, we got some beef with some middle-aged men.
Part of the chaos of the poetry scene for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. There's those gatekeepers and people, but that's fine. They said our night was run really well, so it's.
I believe it is. I think we've gotten a lot better. I think I've spoken about this before, that like running events reminds me of working in hospitality, and I've done a lot of cafe work.
I've done none.
But then you've done like support work and stuff like that, which is its own brand of chaos as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Perhaps more like, I feel like my brand of chaos that this actually probably explains why we both do the different roles in what we do. My brand of chaos that I'm used to is just juggling a million little thoughts in my head all at once, which is I've now decided to turn into a living, or trying to turn it into a career. And I've gotten quite good at that. I used to cry on shift because my brain hurt and everything sucked. And also I was being yelled at by arseholes that run kitchens.
No, what?
But learning to juggle a million different little things, and so running events. I said I am anxious at gigs, which I am, but at the same time, the juggling of all the different little moving parts actually is somewhat calming to me now.
I don't get that. That's literally the opposite.
But the chaos in your previous jobs is more dealing with the chaos of individual people.
Yeah, it's true. It's having. Actually, you never even thought about that. Yeah, like
I made the connection now.
Yeah, there we go. You learn something new every day. Yeah, actually, getting people kind of equivocate emceeing something to. Well, I used to work in respite with young kids and young people. Yeah, actually, it's more of a one-on-one-ish kind of a whole. You have to. You're focusing on the whole respite unit environment, and everyone has organising a bit, this person here, that person there, which kind of correlates a little bit to emceeing. This person goes, this person wants to go on early, or this person wants to go on later, this person is annoying me and keeps asking me constantly when they're going on, and I'm like next, that kind of stuff. So I just but it's overall it's still nice and fun. It's just, I think maybe because this is Slammervision. This isn't radio talk.
Yep.
This is something we've been asked to do. This is in conjunction with
it's actually a very good
the United Nations. It's a long bow, but we're pulling it. Draw. Sorry, that's a long bow with draw.
I mentioned it to someone the other day, and like UNESCO, isn't that like the people that like declare that certain houses and things are heritage? UNESCO heritage listed.
Oh, okay. Well, I looked it up the other day, and they are. Yeah, UNESCO is just a subsection of United Nations, so they do. Yeah.
So it's a subset of a subset of a subset.
Still take it, and so we've been asked to do this, and we're not dealing with the usual radio talk crowd, I don't think.
Yeah.
So it's going to be.
Or rather, it'll be a much more mixed bag.
Yeah, because we asked the poets to come, so these are majority of them. Well, 50% at least have never come to radio talk, so they don't.
They don't know what they're in.
So but then again, it's not going to be the same atmosphere because it's not going to be a radio talk atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because it's Slammervision and it's competition. They get 4 minutes.
Yeah.
They can't speak before or after. It's 4 minutes filmed. Done.
That's true.
It's not it's the competition thing.
Yeah.
So.
Which I will miss the chaos of radio talk, I think, tonight, but it will be its own brand of chaos. It is. I didn't actually really even consider the fact that like that's such a source of the anxiety for this one is just the fact that we're doing it for somebody else.
Yeah.
Which I struggle with really hard.
But I know that I'm going to still MC the same.
I don't think you have the capacity to do otherwise.
I want to disagree with that, but I can't. But also I'm co-hosting with Shy, who comes to Radio Talk a lot. Who's also in our poetry book, Good Book By Book, and so it's going to be interesting there to see how. Well, because we're making it up sort of ish, and I think I come up with ideas like, well, if it's going to be something completely different, why don't we have someone else like co-host and just and get as many people involved as possible?
I like it.
Yeah, thank you. I thought I've just been talking for a bit too long, so it's like
no, please do because I don't have anything.
Well, why the fuck are we doing a podcast?
No, I had another segue and I subsequently
forgot it.
Yeah, lost it.
Well, that's no good. So yes, the night is. There is some. Yeah, we're going to have to adjust and plan things a bit more. I think, because usually it's all streamlined now. We go there, we put the seats out, blah blah blah, everything. But now it's just very much. We're going to have to be a bit more monotonous, more. Not monotonous, more
meticulous.
Meticulous, that's it. Still start with an M. Thank you. It's just about what we're doing, which is an odd feeling for a poetry night.
Well, I was thinking that running events or working in hospital or working in hospice or anything like that, basically you're just trying to keep things moving calmly.
Yeah.
You were trying to manage the chaos and funnel it into positivity as much as possible without also showing that you're doing that. I think that's the I've seen the way you interact in those kind of spaces, like working with doing like the mentoring and stuff like that, is much more like and also with emceeing is trying to be. I can see kind of what you're trying to achieve. There's a goal you're trying to achieve in the moment, but then it's in a very natural way guiding the energy into that place rather than like I don't know if we do this very well at Radio Talk because Radio Talk is absolute fucking chaos.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, but and we're doing these kind of things. You basically the phrase I'm looking for is like behind the curtain. You're trying not to show them behind the curtain. You're trying to keep things moving in a way that they just go, oh, this is really cool. They don't see the.
Yes. I have been known as the autistic Wizard of Oz. Yes. That's my term for the night. No,
I want to be one of those little flying monkeys.
Oh,
those things are sick.
Anyway, sorry. Yes, you don't want to show people the man behind the curtain,
but I feel like we do. I feel like you do see the inner workings of these things.
Well, that's what we've talked about that when I think it was with Antonio maybe previously talking about if we are a rap doing on stage, it's that authentic. Well, yeah, we've had a whole podcast about authenticity back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's kind of. I don't know, just less not stringent, but it just sort of, I don't know. Yeah, it's I had something and it's disappeared. I was going somewhere.
Not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to dress up like what we're doing is like this kind of, not trying to be too grandiose. That being said, though, as well, like we are. Look, I'm not gonna name anyone, but I know that like in comparison to some other events that we have been to, through many different genres and scenes, like the level of organization that we put into the behind the scenes is.
I think that's a good point. Actually,
extensive.
It's the behind the scenes kind of.
That's the kind of shit that we don't really show off too much. We talk about it a little bit on the podcast, perhaps. We don't really show off too much about like the number of spreadsheets I have. We've made jokes about it, but like.
You mean your witchcraft?
Running small events doesn't necessarily need to have like a worksheet, a 2-page worksheet with every little time and every contact and all this kind of shit listed, but we do it. For me, I do it because my brain needs it. I need to have it all there so it's like packaged as a product and I can understand how it would actually work rather than like, oh yeah, this little thing will work out, this thing will work out. And then doesn't always work out. Oh my God.
Beer on podcast is coming back to me.
Every time.
I think, if you're going like hosting stuff, if you go to most open mic poetry nights, if not all of them other than ours, it's it's all sign up. You whiteboard or a notebook or something. You put your names down,
Or just put your hand
and
up.
that's
Which might be what we're doing tonight.
Well, we got to replace a poet.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got the burps. Sorry, audio listeners. That's a bit of ASMR for you. But yeah, I think because it's a background that we get the names. We have 15 to 20 odd names sometimes. It's all there, and then the list is done. Whereas I think open mic stuff, it's just you're reading a name off a list. I've been to one or two where the host is, there's less of a disconnect from the audience and stuff. But no, there's poetry night up at Murmur Library in Brunswick, and they have an Auslan interpreter.
Oh, sick.
So I think I got funding. I don't know, which is great. And they ask if you can to email your poem in early, so that they can.
Cool.
So I'm assuming not everyone would because
Doubt that happens all that much.
I mean, I don't know, but like if you've got regulars, like we've got regulars that come to our night and they kind of know how it works, and they're okay if they're okay with a lot of things, and they kind of. So I think people that are regular that want to go, they will send it in if they remember. You kind of get that. Every place has their own community, which I think So I think they're the only other poetry night that I know that has somewhat of a online thing, but that's is more for the interpreter than actual sign-ups. But because you can sign, because I'm assuming everyone, because not everyone, you're going to get like 75% people that read things, and there's always 25% people that just don't read stuff, and they just
I
go
would
in and
flip those two statistics. I would
okay.
say.
Well, I was trying to be nice. Actually, no, yet I'm going to go 50-50 because I don't want to have to do a third apology in this video. So.
So you know, I don't think we were planning to talk about this, but now we've alluded to it several times. So I'm going to dive in a little bit. We've had
dive, bro.
Complaints or very strong-willed suggestions. Of not doing online signups and
let's do that. Let's go
running things differently. Not just online. Yeah, there's been several elements of our night that we've been told.
I have a blog post on it.
Fucking change it. Yeah, if you've read the blogs, then
mainly about poetry.
Yeah.
Have we had any?
I had it with DJ Social Club when I was helping with that. That was one where we got a lot of.
I'm more talking about like our real like events that we run.
Sure.
So I don't think you have never mentioned anything to me about. No one's complained about Project Legacy.
No, I don't.
We had an email, but that's fine.
Suggestions from like venues and stuff like that, I will take much more. That was
And I don't think anyone can really complain about Dusty other than I didn't have anywhere to sit last time, but that's a good problem for us to have.
It was an interesting. I think the difference being there was like having a bit of a discussion professionally about the way a night is running, which also needs to happen. Like we're talking about all this, like organizing events and managing the chaos. So in fact, fucking again to mention the blog, like one of the earliest blog posts I did in this new run was. Plan as you might. Like you can plan, and I try and plan as meticulously as I can for events because they are chaos and my brain is chaos, and so I try and mitigate that. But it's part of it. It's just it does. You can't get away from that, and you need to be able to react really, really quickly, and you also need to be able to make changes between events. So to have someone professionally like want to discuss like the running of the event, fucking sweet. And we've made changes with Project Legacy a couple of times about
and they were happy. So it's
how
fine.
long breaks go.
It was more just like that was the only thing we got from the only ever quote unquote complaint. But it wasn't obviously it was to develop ourselves professionally.
Yes.
And
while these other ones we've received from other places and other
it's
people.
Middle-aged white men just thinking they can tell me what to do.
Well, my main issue is it's not like a hey, have you considered this idea? Hey, have you thought about doing this? I would prefer that rather. Oh no, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, don't do that. No, that's stupid. Don't do that. Like, well, I think the 25 other people that signed up on the fucking night that was there didn't complain at all.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
We don't want to get too heated, but at the same time.
Oh, sorry. So you bring this up, the chaos, the manic nature, and the anxiety. Like, don't get heated, Jason. Don't.
Can you calm the fuck down, please? Manage your emotions, Jason.
No. No. Yeah, I think that's. I'll take this. Thank you.
Okay. Sure, go.
No, you're running with it.
I was gonna say that, especially if there was one night, I also don't want this to come across as like we're not open to suggestions because we also made.
There's a difference between suggestions and.
There's a suggestions box on the fucking.
I don't like this. Change this because of me.
There's a suggestion box on the sign-up sheet, which we have actually made changes based on that based on those suggestions numerous times. I guess if there was one, no, it doesn't actually fucking matter. There's so many nights out there, and all these nights cater to very different audiences. And I wish we did have an Auslan interpreter. That'd be fucking sick. But our night runs differently to probably every other poetry night in some capacity. Like it's definitely it's a unique beast in comparison to the other poetry nights in the scene.
I said the only night I can compare it to. Is Murmur Library. That's probably the most laid back, chill night. Whereas it's probably the only other one that I'll really advocate for the most. As the poetry nights go, because I've talked to a lot of people.
Nearby? Where's Murmur Library?
Kines Kines Library. It's in Brunswick, Hope Street.
Yeah.
Jamali MCs it, and Jamali is also
cool.
A Slammer Vision contestant tonight. I've been a couple of times, haven't been for a long time, but yeah, it's a newer night, and they run it the way they want to run it, and it's definitely different to. A lot of the already well-established nights. And it's nice to go there and just be like, oh, it's not as, what's the word? The other nights seem a bit more mechanical. So it's like, well, I went to one, I'm not going to name it, but there was like 10 poets, if that, and they had a feature. They always have a feature. And so they had 5 poets, feature. No, they had 5 poets, feature, then a half an hour break, and then 5 more poets. So we started at 7:30.
Half-hour break.
We started at 7:30 and it finished at 10. And I'm like, we could have been out there by 9.
Yeah,
if that,
sure.
Even with the, I was like, do we need a half an hour break? This is just Ryan and Jason complaining now.
But I guess the point I want to kind of bring it to, which I sort of made a similar point about in my marketing blog post the other day of...
it's a good blog. It's on our Patreon page if you want to look it up.
That basically like people... People think they know best, including ourselves. We think that we have figured out how the best way to run a poetry night, which is not true. We have figured out the best way to run our poetry night.
For us,
And same with certain marketing techniques, same with, just whatever. Like, so my example in this, within the poetry night thing, like, okay, actually, 2 examples. The feature one, for example, the feature, we've been, people have said to us that they love that we don't have a feature, which is funny because at the start, we were like, we should get features all the time.
Well, the thing is, I think my catchphrase, we've talked about this before, but the first ever poster you made for Talking Blue, it was poetry every week on a Tuesday, hosted by state champion poet Jason Voss, and competition every last Tuesday of every thing. We never did a competition. We changed to fortnightly, and then we were like, no, we'll do a feature once a month. So we have open mic and then open mic and a feature. And then eventually we're like, no, too much effort. Too many people want to sign up. It's just no point.
Features are difficult. I think maybe you need a bigger kind of setting for it.
I think features are good. I've talked shit about nights, but this has not been mean to other nights. Features are good if you've got less sign-ups. Because if you've got 10, 5 feature 5, you're good.
Well, I also think like ours feels. This is a bit self-grandizing. But like I feel like we're a bit underground and a bit lo-fi in that sense. Like we're not really attached, which is funny because now we're the ones approached by Melbourne City Literature.
We're not attached. Like I've talked to so many people and like I've never heard of your night.
Yeah,
I'm like
but we get a huge fucking turnout.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Is that no one's heard of my night? Our night.
It's aren't as attached to the existing scene as we could be, which I kind of hope that that will change.
But
over time a little bit.
we've tried. Anyway, but the thing, we tried. I don't think
that's a poetry thing. I think that is just when there's things that already exist. Then,
I said we tried to.
What are we doing? Yeah, well,
we tried to go one avenue. We tried to be like contact certain blah blah blah, and we got, we were basically got ignored for ages, and so we just I think that's really where we decided just to do our own thing. We're going to put on poetry nights. Well, this time last year, we had one night there were 9 people turned up, and it was the first time ever. I just went, okay, we're going to have a little break. And who wants to go again? That kind of thing. It was, and this time last year, basically, and now, this year, we've had big, massive nights. It's just sort of a weird. It's a weird concept.
I guess that's. So I think the fact that we're not really connected is actually both a benefit to the existing scene and a benefit to us, because I don't actually really want to go in and try and compete or necessarily even attract the existing audiences and they're going to current nights.
But that's why they don't come. They don't like the way we run it. That's why they don't come. So,
but then and then we attract, I think, a lot more first timers and a lot. I think we attract more young people.
Because we are young people ourselves. I'm only 18.
Yeah. I think there's that. There is that sort of underground vibe to it, which, I mean, look. To be fucking frank, like there is a poetry aesthetic that I'm not even saying necessarily nights in Melbourne have, but that when people think of poetry, they think of libraries, they think of galleries, they think of berets, they think of what are those things that the
cravats?
Cravats. I think carafes, but that's
a drink.
That's
or
for
food?
wine.
Yeah.
That's for decanting your wine, I think.
Yes.
They think of very hoity-toity kind of nature, and we do it at Radio Bar, and we are who we are, and we present the night in the way we present it. And so little things like having online sign-ups is really fucking good for people who have grown up online and are trying poetry for the first time.
But that's because you sign up. Because you sign up. Because if you go to a poetry night, you have to find. You find where you're signing up. You got write your name down. So I know it's a lot, but if you sign up online, you're just like, okay, my name's down.
Yep.
And you don't have to turn up.
Yeah.
Whereas, I
get so anxious. I get so anxious when I've gone to other poetry nights and I have to go up and talk to someone about signing up.
Hey, where do I sign up?
Or if it's a situation where you throw your hand up and it's like, who wants to go next? You go, me.
Whereas there was one night where they actually go like, I think it was last time I went to There was they actually went around like with the things asking people if they want to sign up, and they went, instead of going, I think they announced it. No, that's right. No, they announced it like there's a notepad down here. With a pen, please, like if you want to come down. Whereas most nights just go, well, everyone knows what to do.
Yeah,
there's a little notebook here. I'm like, I remember walking in and I saw a notebook there. I'm like, okay, well, someone's got a notebook because they want to write some stuff because it's poetry night.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, that's a sign up book. And I was like, oh, okay, no sign, no nothing, because everyone just expects people to know what to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's that annoying part for me. It's just like, well, there's that expectation. Well, it's an open mic. You got to sign like. So, well, no.
That's even something that we've really learned through just running all events. Like, not even just for performance, but for audience. Like, that's the importance of having an MC that really guides you. Like, the simple idea of like, another round of applause for this person. Like, people like direction. They actually feel people need that kind of permission to do the thing that they
literally starting to go hands on heads and everyone just does it. Like everyone keeps talking, I go hand, then eventually do it, or just play reverb and everyone shuts up.
I think the chaos for us is also chaos for the audience. And that again, that is our job is to try and guide the people through that chaos in a very comfortable manner, because people come to radio talk who have a lot of anxiety and all kinds of other things going on in their heads, and we create a chaotic environment, and yet
But it's so
somehow
it's that but it's a lot of people with the same kind of chaos that all collective together. Because I know I can think of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people that wouldn't feel comfortable in certain other poetry nights, or they wouldn't be as boisterous or whatever as they are in other poetry nights as they are where we are.
Absolutely.
So which again, it's other poetry nights are fine if you want to go to them. Go to them.
Please, there's some fucking amazing
some people,
ones
some people enjoy the sign up at a whiteboard and that kind of thing, and the same community. Well, because we build up our own community, but then our community is, the word of the day, chaos. But but then we don't know who's going to turn up a lot of the time. But a lot of other nights have a lot of individuals and regulars that kind of what's the word, gatekeep things, and sort of it does feel a bit why should I be here kind of thing.
I mean, I've thought about this with other events, not poetry nights, but rather other, which I think a poetry night fits this bill really, really closely. But there's I think a lot of this, am I going to stick my? I mean, we've already stuck our foot in it with this episode anyway, so I'm going to keep going. But
we're not going to get poetry. We're not going to get events or something.
Yeah.
Like Slam Vision. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of. Like I feel like I'm going to do this at some stage. Is certain events are actually not run to grow and not run to.
That's a good point.
To be big or like mean much beyond
what they're doing.
Basically, going down to the pub with your mates.
Yeah,
but
true.
we also happen to read poetry, or we also happen to play hip hop, or we also happen to sing acoustic songs to each other. And I think that's actually really, really good. I would like it to be maybe more acknowledged when that is the case. Like, I think it's quite true for like especially like older generations. Like I say that knowing that like my dad throws gigs out in the country with his mates, and it's like maybe once a Sunday every month they just go down to the pub and they play some tunes. And there's really no, I don't think there's really any lack of understanding that they're like, yeah, we expect only our mates to be here.
Yeah,
and we're going to just play some tunes to our mates and listen to their tunes. And then smash a bunch of beers.
If that's the expectation, and then that's great.
Yeah, I think that's kind of sick.
Yeah.
But it's about like then that event is for that group of people, and then you tailor that event to work for them. At the end, to sum up everything I've been saying is just do what makes sense for you and your audience.
True, but I think talking about that, seems some places just happy to stagnate or plateau, and they don't see, because I know if I gave feedback to certain nights, it'd be thrown back in my face, right? Yep. And some people that go to these nights are more than willing to give me feedback,
sure,
and are very upset if I negate them, that kind of thing. And I was like, it's just. But then I go to just to get off poetry for a second. Then we go to Project Legacy, and everything really is good feedback.
Yeah,
we put on a night that seems, I don't know, chill, relaxed, calm, safe. Is a good word. Oh, Rise had some thinking.
I just want, because I'm just so wary of like, I just never want to sound like, I think we do sound like that we don't want feedback.
I know, we're happy
we can't
for
take feedback. But this might be true at some cases. But
no, as I said, it's a difference between going, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jason, you need to do this when you MC, instead of going, have you thought about this? Or like, because that time, you need to stop online sign-ups because people might not be able to make it. And so, well,
that's an argument. I've got you can make that same argument backwards. Yeah. So for people who can't arrive on time, they need online signups.
Yeah. So like there's a difference between you need to do this instead of how about, because you said before, people have said, how about you try this, or
have this, you tried and here's the reason why.
Instead of just going, do this because I am personally not liking this. So,
because these events are chaos, and there are things that we miss.
oh yeah, 100%. We're not
And
we're not immune to
members of our
mistakes.
audience have pulled us up on things and
Yeah.
and made suggestions. We've made changes.
100%.
I guess it's just acknowledging that there are different ways of doing things
There are.
that suit different nights and different people.
This is very true.
and different audiences and different groups.
Are we gonna try to?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think we're. Oh,
Oh.
brilliant.
For those that we just did the same pose as the video,
We posed with ourselves.
so that could be the thumbnail right there.
I think that's probably it.
I think that's-
this has been a Vibe Union.
We're two sweaty boys in a
podcast.
little room. Music by Sixpence.
If you disagree with things that we've said on this
Back off,
podcast,
no.
you can stick up your ass.
Please let us know. Send all emails to email because
Vibe Union Collective.
I
At Gmail.
Rye reads them all.
I respond to all emails in my own sweet mystical time.
Or just sign up to our Patreon, give us money, and you can leave a comment there with money.
If you donate to our Patreon, we will take your feedback much more seriously.
The more it is, the more we take it seriously. Thank you all.
Sorry,
This made my eyes look really nice.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
This thing also had different colors. That's kind of that one's awful.
That's
Yeah.
oh.
Anyway,
Anyway,
stay
peace. Stay moist.
stay moist. It's gonna be a hot summer.